Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Girls Junior Division Softball Championship game played at Goodale Park. I'm Steve Howland, and I'll be doing your play-by-play. And joining me with the color commentary is Gary Dralis. Gary, welcome.
Hey, Steve. How you doing?
Real good. It's turned out to be a good day after all. It was originally scheduled for Saturday, June 25th, but the rains came and kind of washed that out.
It certainly did come down, and that field was unplayable. And if you look at it, it's still a little bit damp today, but the ground crew did a great job, and off we go.
Well, today's game has the Menardians in red, who are the home team today, playing against Beeman Tavern, who are in the dark uniforms, and I believe they're a black jersey. It's kind of tough to tell from here, but it looks like it's a black jersey. To round out the defense for Menards, right there on the mound is Adrian Pucko. She's a 12-year-old. Catching for her is Alicia Dungy. On first base is Lindsay Richards, the younger sister of Melissa Richards from the high school. Jess Stelmuck is at second. Caitlin Wilson at shortstop. Amy Menard, the daughter of Coach Paul Menard, on third base. Corinne Mansevice, sorry about that, Corinne, is out in left field. Erin Latore in center, and Amanda Bjorklund, as the camera goes over that way. There you are, Amanda Bjorklund over there in right field.
For Beeman Tavern, I'll give you the starting batting order. Playing center field, 11-year-old Teresa Callahan leading off. Batting second, the shortstop, 12-year-old Courtney Copenal. Pitching, 12-year-old Jessica Anderson. Playing third base is 12-year-old Marlene Hill. Playing first base, 12-year-old Amanda Whalen. Playing right field, 12-year-old Angela Russo. Playing second base, 11-year-old Eliza
Mishi, I believe.
Mishi. Playing catcher, 11-year-old Aaron Roach. And the left fielder is 12-year-old Becky Bowman.
The coaching staff for Menard's Auto Body, right there on your screen now in the shorts, is Paul Menard. He's assisted by John Stelmuck and Tim Cavan. For the Beeman team, Beeman Tavern in the black jerseys, their head coach is Paul Anderson, and you can see him off in the distance right now going through the ground rules with today's umpire. The pitchers for today's action for Menard's Auto Body is Adrian Pucko, and Adrian has a rather strong background as far as pitching goes.
Yeah, her dad could sling a softball back in the old Fitchburg League.
And Adrian also helped us out and went to one of the pitching clinics that we had between season, and Adrian has thrown the first pitch. In the box for Beeman Tavern is Teresa Callahan. And she pounds one to the right side out there in right field. Amanda Bjorklund picks it up, throws it into first, not in time, as Lindsay Richards tries to handle that throw in from the outfield.
And Beeman gets off to a quick start. Nice hit by Teresa.
Runner on first. Up comes Courtney Copenal, the shortstop for Beeman. Courtney is also a very good basketball player. Courtney pounds one hard to short, scooped up by Caitlin Wilson, over to Jess Stelmuck covering, and that's the first out of the inning.
That's a beautiful play. That's a nice play from shortstop to second base, and fielder's choice puts Courtney on first base, and there's one out now.
Caitlin Wilson has some rather famous heritage herself. Her uncle is in the Paw Sox organization pitching. First pitch from Adrian Pucko is a ball to Jessica Anderson.
And we just had a steal of second base.
Jessica Anderson is the daughter of Paul Anderson, the coach of Beeman Tavern.
How's that, Charlie?
As long as they're beyond the post. Thank you.
Crack cameraman Charlie Greeno in the background.
My line of sight goes right by the post.
And Charlie is one of our cameramen extraordinaire. You see his work during football season, during basketball season. He's one of the stalwarts of WBPA TV, and it's great to have him with us.
Well, he's going to get a heck of a workout this year with 8 varsity home games coming up starting September 16th.
So there's a runner on second with 1 out here in the top of the first inning for Beeman Tavern. Adrian Pucko on the mound, pitching to her battery mate, Alicia Dungee, and the ball is pounded up the middle, picked up there by Erin Latore. And the run scores, and Beeman Tavern goes up 1-0.
Jessica did a nice job of just going with the pitch that time and drove it right up the middle, and she gets her first RBI.
Erin Latore is a 12-year-old, I believe. Let me check my list here. No, she's an 11-year-old for Menards Auto Body. Brings up Marlene Hill. Marlene with that spread stance. Looks at high ball 1 and steal attempt, and nobody covering there as Jess Stelmach knocks down the throw. Alicia Dungee demonstrating a good throwing arm from the catcher's spot. Adrian now with the delivery, high in the air, and drops in front of the third baseman, Amy Menard. Nowhere to go with it. So the runner at second stays put. Runners on first and second now with 1 out for Beeman Tavern. That brings up Amanda Whalen.
That was just one of those tweeners, Steve. Nobody could get there.
Just didn't quite get enough air under it as far as the defense goes to keep that in the air long enough for Amy Menard to park under it.
But Marlene liked it.
I bet she did. Adrian Pucko now with the delivery. Strike 1 on the batter.
I think it's a stolen base again. I think it's important to see that Adrian is already attempting that windmill delivery. And as she gets older and things move on, it's going to be very beneficial.
Well, the body form plays such an important part in pitching fast pitch. Ball hit to the left side. Caitlin Wilson picks it up, fires over to first, and the ball's off the glove of Lindsay Richards. 1 run scores, 2 runs score. No, check that. The runner stayed on third.
So we're going to have to charge an error to the first baseman, Lindsay Richards. That was a pretty good throw, and it was there in time, and that puts Beeman up 2-0.
Ball is hit foul and off the screen, so it's a dead ball. Runners at the corners here in the top of the first inning. Beeman up 2-0. Menards is the reigning champ, having won the championship last year. Adrian Pucko with the delivery. It's strike 2. Got past the catcher, and the run comes in, and she's safe.
That brings the score to 3-0 now. And we have a runner all the way to third base now.
No balls, 2 strikes. Just a bit low, 1-2.
That was heads up by Amanda Whalen as she went from first to third on that.
Batter now is Angela Russo. Angela is the right fielder for Beeman as she looks at call third strike. So that's 2 outs now for Beeman Tavern. That's going to bring up Eliza Mishi. Eliza's an 11-year-old, second baseman for Beeman. Fakes the bunt, it looks like, Gary, and pulls that back and looks at the call strike. It's good to see that the girls at this level are starting to play a strategic kind of softball, and that's what you see more of when you're playing a fast-pitch game.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed so far. The shortstop's made a couple of nice plays for Menards. That's Caitlin Wilson.
Count is 1-1 now on Mishi, the batter. Adrian with the delivery. Ball hit off of Adrian's glove, rather, and Caitlin tries to scoop it up, but Mishi is too fast down the line. Score the run on that.
We'll give her an RBI on that one because that was off the pitcher's glove.
4-0 now, Beeman Tavern, top of the first inning, and Erin Roach, an 11-year-old, steps in for Beeman. Aaron hits one to the right side, and it's picked up by Adrian over to Lindsay for the final out of the inning. 4 runs in for Beeman in the top of the inning. On how many hits, Gary?
They had 1, 2, 3, 4 hits.
4 hits, so that will bring Menards up here for the bottom of the first inning. And the first 3 batters for Menards are due to be Caitlin Wilson, the shortstop, Amy Menard, the third baseman, and Alicia Dungy, the catcher.
Well, I think Adrian pitched pretty well that inning. That error hurt quite a bit, and were it not for that error, they probably would have got out of the inning with just a couple of runs. And Menards has got their work cut out for them now. Beeman's off to a quick start. And speaking of Beeman's, we really want to, we at WBPA would love to give Beeman's a great thank, and I'll let you expound on that, Steve.
Well, the reason why we're giving Kevin McCormick and Beeman Tavern a nice pat on the back here is they have recently purchased a video switcher for us that will enable us to do multiple camera shoots on a remote location very easily without totally disassembling our edit setup here in the studio. So now, with a little bit of construction up at the football field, we'll be able to do 2 camera shoots and have one roaming up and down the sideline for football games. And it'll also allow us to do, hopefully, we plan to do 3 camera shoots for basketball season this year. So we really would like to thank Kevin McCormick and Beeman Tavern for buying that switcher for us.
You know, and one thing that's very important is that we at WBPA take no money from the town. We are not in your budget. We are not on your tax rate. And it's donations like the one Kevin gave us, and a lot of you folks have sent in to us. And if we forget to say thank you sometimes, we really do want to say thank you. Those $5 bills, those $20 bills, they all add up, and that's how we buy our videotapes and upgrade our equipment. And a special thanks to Kevin. That was wonderful.
And one of the things, of course, you and I get our big enjoyment out of is getting involved in the sports broadcasts here in town. And of course, there's a lot of things we miss because, let's face it, we do have other jobs, believe it or not, that we have to do. This is kind of a for fun volunteer type thing. But whenever we get the chance, we like to get the kids on TV and let them get a chance to see themselves and how they play. And that in itself is a good coaching tool because you can critique yourself and see how you can improve your game.
You know what the worst part of this whole thing is?
What's that?
Most of these guys and gals will never be able to tell these war stories about how great they were. Somebody's going to have it on video.
Well, what we try to do when we're able to put together highlight videos is pick the true highlights so they can plug that in instead and say, see, you know, I told you.
We're going to have our hands full this year with highlight film with 8 home games for football. That's going to be a vast undertaking.
And there's also some promising things on the horizon for the boys varsity basketball team. They have some very, very good possibilities over the next couple of years. And if the guys really stick to business and work hard, we may see the first boys varsity basketball qualify for district competition, in fact, this season in a long time.
Clark.
Well, Clark tournament too, but I think the districts are a little bit bigger. Caitlin Wilson drops down a bunt, and she's safe.
That was a beautiful bunt. It was just really unplayable.
Storybook squared around, just put that little deadened backspin on it and let it die in front of the plate. So Caitlin's on first. Jessica Anderson with the delivery. And the steal down to second, throws not in time. It's also good to see that the offenses are playing aggressively and going for that stolen base. That's the only way that you're going to develop the catchers. Amy Menard at the plate now for Menard's Auto Body. She attempted a bunt on that high pitch, called a strike.
Sure wish that coach would move out of the way.
And on the pass ball, Caitlin Wilson scurries down to third. So with no outs, there's a runner on third. And Amy Menard at the plate. I still have not gotten used to having both dugouts on the same side of the field, Gary.
Right next year.
You and I both used to coach here, and that was back in the days when the dugouts were on opposite sides and we had the ant-infested wooden retaining walls. So.
Waiting for them to fall.
Yeah.
Director Charlie Greeno moves the coach. Oh, high pitch.
Just a bit high, and the runner does not advance.
Nice bounce off the backstop that time.
Well, plus Jessica Anderson was right there to cover. Aaron Roach, the catcher, scurried back there to pick the ball up, and Coach Menard down there at third wisely held Caitlin Wilson at third.
Yeah, that's a base on ball, Steve.
Runners at the corners now, no outs. Up comes Alicia Dungy. And I apologize in advance if I butcher any of you girls' names.
That's why I'm just going to call her Alicia.
Good plan. Having had my Corey graduate out of the program a couple of years ago, you tend to lose track with the girls and who's playing and everything. A little varsity decoy there employed by Beeman as Amy Menard stole second. Instead of throwing down to second, they threw to the shortstop. A little bit high on the pitch as she held on to it a little long.
Coach Paul over there at third base is realizing he's 4 runs down and the meat of the order coming up. Why run into an out right now?
Jessica a little bit low on the pitch, having a little bit difficulty here finding the plate, which clearly demonstrates how much of a skill-oriented position that pitcher's position is.
I'm sure she's got a few butterflies roaming through that tummy right now.
Being in the championship game. Swinging strike by Alicia.
Just bring it down just a little bit.
The timing on the release of the ball in softball is so critical. You want to, idealistically, you want to have that wrist snap and have the ball leave your fingers right as your hand hits your side. And if you hold on to it a little bit too long, the ball sails, and if you let go of it a little too soon, it becomes a worm burner. So, you know, that release is so critical.
It looks like she was hit by that pitch.
So bases loaded here for Menard's Auto Body in the bottom of the first inning, no outs. That will bring up Lindsay Richards, and if she's any type of offensive player like her older sister Melissa was, the defense better back up. She hits one high in the air to the right side, and it drops in there in front of Angela Russo. 2 runs in.
And Paul sending in the third. Oh, high throw to the plate. Now she's turning around.
And we might have a rundown situation here. No. And Lindsay gets back to second. So Alicia Dungy holds there at third, and Lindsay Richards ends up with a double here in the bottom of the first inning. 2 runs in now for Menards. 4-2 the score. Brings up the pitcher, Adrian Pucko.
Alicia's tired of running around, I'll tell you that. Allen got away.
And I did hear the umpire call it a ball because although it did hit her side and just kind of roll down.
Well, listening to the discussion, and the fact of the matter is that I think he called that a no pitch.
As Adrian turns around to bunt. Yeah, I'm sorry, Gary, go ahead.
I don't know what the confusion is on that. Basically, she went through emotion. The ball left her hand, so it should have been counted as a pitch.
I believe he did call it a ball, so let's assume that the count is 1-1 here. Squares around to bunt again, and that one is fouled as Aaron Roach picks it up and tosses it down to Amanda Whalen at first.
2 strikes on Adrian.
1-2. Coach Tim Cavan there, a couple words of encouragement for Adrian. Tim's been coaching in youth sports for many years here in town.
Yeah, I figure they're probably going to name a field after him someday. He's been around so long.
And he's still a young pup, too.
Well, he tries to tell us that.
Yeah. 2-2 now, the count on Adrian Pucko. Adrian with the swing, foul ball to the backstop. Still 2-2. Yeah, Tim, for those of you who aren't familiar with Tim Cavan has been coaching in the Biddy Ball Basketball League at Major Edwards, coaching in boys Little League Baseball, and now he's followed his stepdaughters into softball. So he keeps himself busy. 3-2, full count here. Adrian Pucko on the mound, waiting for the pitch from Jessica Anderson. Just a bit high, and if memory serves, that should load the bases, and it does. Still no outs here for Menards in the bottom of the first inning.
And up comes Jess.
Jess Stelmach. She's the daughter of assistant coach John Stelmach.
Ah, there it goes. There's that motion. That's what she's looking for.
0-1 the count. Jess is the second baseman for Menards. Jess Anderson just a bit low. The ball gets past the catcher, but Aaron Roach chases it down quickly, and Jessica Anderson covered the plate great that time.
Yeah, and with no outs, I'm sure that Coach Paul Menard is not going to run into an out at this time.
As Coach Paul Anderson goes out to the mound to talk to his daughter, Paul Menard also has a lot of coaching experience in town. He's been involved in the girls softball league for a number of years, and for my last all-star season when I was doing girls softball in town, Paul was one of my assistant coaches, and he was a very, very valuable assistant for that season. That was the last time that West Boylston won the Sterling tournament when Paul was one of my assistants, and he had a lot to do with it.
Paul has also been very good to the TV station, so Paul is very well rounded. Him and his brother Ron.
1-1 now the count. Strike 2 to Jess Stelmach.
As I remember the year we were having trouble getting umpires for Little League, and Paul and his brother worked away for a whole year for us, and those are the things you don't forget.
Jess Anderson now with the delivery. And nice delivery. And I missed the count somewhere along the line. I believe I heard the umpire say full count, so we'll change it to 3-2. I must have given a ball when there was a strike or something, or vice versa. So the count is full.
Nice crowd out here today, Steve.
Well, it was a great day.
And that forces in a run.
4-3 now. Bases still loaded, bottom of the first. No outs, and that'll bring up Aaron Latore, the center fielder for Menards Auto Body.
Jess, what do you have painted on your face?
Well, it won't be too much longer when we'll look at days like this on tape and we'll say, boy, wouldn't I like it to be like that again. Huh?
Is it cold? Of course, if we waited much longer to do this voiceover, there would have been snow on the ground.
That's true, and I apologize for that. Both Gary and I in our jobs have been doing a lot of traveling and just haven't had the time. Pass ball and the run scores. Lindsay Richards ties the game up at 4-4.
Those pass balls really hurt.
So runners at second and third now with no outs. And the batter is still Aaron Latore, the 12-year-old center fielder for, I'm sorry, I did that again, the 11-year-old center fielder for Menards. Even though Jess Anderson is still having a little bit of trouble with her control, she is looking smoother. She's her form and her delivery look a lot better than it did earlier in the inning.
And, you know, she's developing a little bit of speed right now also.
Ball is just a bit high. 2-2 is the count now on Aaron Latore. Jess Anderson looks down there to Aaron Roach and makes the delivery. Ball is hit to the right side, picked up by Amanda Whalen for the out. 1 run scores. And Amanda wisely held on to the ball because the defense wasn't going to, I mean, the offense wasn't going to be going any further.
Well, as I said earlier, a 4-run lead's not the safest thing in the world, and Menards is now taking the lead, 5-4. We have our first out now, and up comes Kareem.
And I hope I'm saying this right when I say it's Mansevice. If it's not, my apologies.
I'll let you people know his phone number afterwards. Oh, it was out of pass ball. I mean, a wild pitch. She's almost all the way up to third base.
Well, that's what happens when these balls hit the concrete. It's like rebound city. 1 ball, no strikes, the count to Corinne. Actually, that could be Corrine, too, you know.
That's what I'd call it.
2-0, 2 balls, no strikes. 1 out here, bottom of the first, 5-4 in favor of Menards, batting in the bottom of the first.
Amanda Bjorklund on deck right now.
Corrine squared to bunt and diagnosed the pitch being a little too low, so pulled it back. Nice pitch. Called strike. Jess Anderson is looking better on her form. See Paul Menard across the way, studiously examining the situation. 2 strikes now on the batter, Mansevice.
She had a little heat on that one. That was a nice pitch.
Well, we'll begin to notice as the ball is a little low and Jess covers home plate nicely, making sure the runner from third doesn't score. We'll begin to notice now, Gary, as the league gets a little bit older, because this is only the 2nd year we've been playing fast pitch. So we'll notice that over the next year, 2, maybe 3, that the pitching will become much more precise, and the form will be much better. I mean, watching Jessica, she's keeping her back straight. She's not bending. She's not ducking, which is usually a kind of a slow pitch kind of a delivery. So she's got that nice straight upright back. She's got the good arm rotation, so she's real close.
And this is all fairly new to her. I mean, she can only been playing, you know, this type of softball for a couple of years. And it's important. Nice swing by Amanda. And the thing is that the mechanics come. I mean, when we were growing up, a 12-year-old girl would have been playing with dolls. Today they're turning into great little athletes, and just a sign of the times, you know.
Yeah, I think part of that might be is us guys don't get intimidated by athletic girls anymore. Most of us don't.
The girls in this town have really brought us a lot of joy as far as districts and everything. And, one of the strengths of this town is girls athletics, and a lot of it goes back to the Cavins and the Menards and all the people I'm not saying, because they put the time in. Even somebody named Howland once in a while.
Who's that? Just a bit high.
Your wife. But I really think that this feeder program is really helping us develop our sports as they get older, and we have really been an outstanding school when it comes to soccer, basketball, softball.
And even football over the years, too. It's good to see. Count is full now, 3-2. It's good to see that the Charger program has started back up again.
Yeah, I think it's on shaky grounds again this year. It's just a very expensive program. We just can't seem to find enough people to play.
Ball 4 to Amanda Bjorklund. That loads the bases up again, 1 out, and that brings us back to the top of the order, Caitlin Wilson. First time up, Caitlin got a single, it looks like.
She had a bunt single and stole second.
Pitch is just a bit low, ball 1. Score is 5-4 here in the bottom of the first inning, as you see Jess Anderson there on the mound.
And it looks like we have a different pitcher in there right now. Is that still Jess? I don't think so.
Actually, no, it isn't. Looks like we're warming up, and I can't tell from here, but I think that might be Marlene Hill, if I can get her numbers number 1.
That is Marlene. Definitely is Marlene Hill. Marlene coming over from the third base position, and the flip over has Jessica going over to third.
Okay, so let's make that on our lineup cards. Marlene Hill on the mound and Jess Anderson over to third.
I hope that Jessica doesn't feel too bad, because I think that she has an awful lot of potential, and what hurt her more than anything today was she just lost a little bit of her control, and the fact that she's starting to get that windmill going and she's got some positive mechanics. I hope she sticks with it and doesn't hang her head over this.
Well, one of the things you look for as a coach is how are they fundamentally? How is their body when they're making the delivery? And she had some real good positive aspects of what her arm's doing, what her body's doing, what her feet are doing during the delivery. So she has a good, strong foundation to build on.
Once those hands get a little bit bigger and those muscles get a little stronger, she's going to be a force.
Called strike on Caitlin Wilson. Just a bit low, and Aaron Roach chases it back, and Marlene Hill covers the plate very nicely too. That's another thing you've got to be impressed with, is all three of the pitchers we've seen so far in this inning, when there's been a pass ball or a wild pitch and there's somebody on third, they cover home.
That's a sign of good coaching.
You know, many times, even watching some Babe Ruth games this year down at the Burncoat League, where my son Jason has been playing, there's a lot of times 15-year-olds who are pitching are going to stand there and watch the pass ball or the wild pitch while a run's barreling down the third baseline. So it's good to see that the girls are playing heads up.
2 strikes on it. Was it 1 and 2 now?
I believe so. This is Caitlin Wilson, the shortstop for for Menards Auto Body.
Being the old man that I have, I just have a hard time believing she's 12 years old now.
Caitlin, yeah. She also is a very good basketball player. She has some good point guard future in her.
Her sister's not a bad basketball player either.
Danielle Wilson, one of the guards on the varsity. So Caitlin walks, forces in a run, puts Menards up now 6-4, and that brings up Amy Menard.
Amy Menard, first time walked, stole a base on the double steal, and scored a run.
And as you're watching Marlene Hill's delivery on the mound for Beeman Tavern, she also participated in a pitching clinic in the offseason, so she's no stranger. And there's a pound to center field over the center fielder's head.
She's going to third.
Teresa Callahan picks it up, gets it into the middle of the infield, and it looks like
that's a home run.
And it looks like it's a grand slam home run for Amy Menard as she hits a deep fly ball over the head of center fielder Teresa Callahan.
And we're going to have to give her a grand slammy on that one for RBI.
So if I can count right, that means Menards has scored 10 runs here in the bottom of the first inning. And there's still only 1 out. That's how walks rather come back to haunt you, when you do get that good strong base knock.
That was quite a smash.
Alicia Dungy now for Menards.
Yeah, that almost might be a little relief right now, though, for Beeman. The bases are empty for the first time since the first batter, and maybe they can relax now and get themselves back in this ballgame.
I'm sure Marlene Hill has that in mind. Just a bit low. 2-1 on Dungy. the second baseman for Menards.
That's only the third hit of the inning. One was a bunt, one was a pop-up that fell in between. That's a strike call, and one was the grand slam. So they scored 10 runs on 3 hits.
Just a bit high. And that's ball 4. So Alicia Dungy now finds herself on first, bringing up Lindsay Richards.
Lindsay had a single for 2 RBIs her first time up.
Lindsay's going to be another one of those multiple sport athletes. As you can tell from here, she's got some real good size to her. I think she's going to follow in her older sister Melissa's footsteps and probably be another power forward.
Alicia's all the way to third base now with a stolen base and a pass ball.
So Lindsay has a chance here to bring in another run as she hits one to shortstop, picked up by Courtney over to first for the out. Amanda Whalen with a catch there over at first. So that's 2 outs, but it does get an RBI for Lindsay. Lindsay now with 3 RBIs in the game. Very good scoop and fire there by Courtney Copenal, the shortstop for Beeman Tavern. Brings up the pitcher, Adrian Pucko. Adrian hits one in the air to the right side, and that's going to drop in. Goes up the gap, picked up by Angela Russo.
She's going to third.
So Adrian gets a triple, scoring Lindsay Richards.
Now Lindsay, there was no RBI.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's right too. She was out at first.
That's right.
Forgive my momentary case of mental constipation. So that's Adrian over on third, and up brings Jess Stelmach.
Just walked the first time up. And there goes Adrian to the plate to throw, and she is safe home. That's the 12th run for the ladies from Menards.
And this is the kind of inning where you as a coach kind of just say, oh, please, let's get the out, people. Play for the out, you know?
That's ball 2 to Jess, so she's sitting there with a 2-ball, no strike count. And Menards has now proven that they can also hit the ball.
2 outs for Menards here, bottom of the first inning. Just a bit low. Marlene let go of the ball just a little bit too soon that time. Although the throwing motion in fast pitch softball is easier on the shoulder, as you see Jess Stelmach walk, the plus or minus window for success as far as when you're releasing the ball is very, very small. So nice call strike on Erin Latore as Jess Stelmach sneaks down to second. 12-4 here in favor of Menards.
And I'll tell you, Beeman's not out of it yet. 5 more innings to go.
Ball 3. Another good heads-up play there by, let's see, I think it's Erin Latore, who's batting now for Beeman. For Menards rather. She gets out of the way when the catcher is having difficulty with the ball, knowing that there's a runner on third, so that gives the runner on third a clear view of what's going on. So Erin Latore with 3 balls, looks at call, strike 2, so we should have a full count here on Erin Latore. Runner on third, 2 outs. Marlene Hill with the payoff pitch. Just a bit high, and that will put Erin down to first and bring up Corrine Mansevice.
Well, Runners on first and third. This is when a nice day like this doesn't seem quite so nice.
Particularly if you're wearing black for the Beeman Tavern team. What did Corrine do last time she was up?
Corrine walked and scored.
Must be running out of room there on your score sheet.
Well, I've already scratched off the second inning, so. This is the 17th batter of the inning for Menards. And there's the pass ball, and we got to play at the plate, and she's safe, and that was a
slides. While the tag was a little bit high, and most umpires, when you get a high tag, they'll say safe on the play. That's the 13th run of this inning for Menards. 3 balls, no strikes on the batter, Mansevice.
You're at a point, it's so early in the ball game, you have to keep trying to score because you don't know what your team's going to do for 5 more innings.
That's right. And on the pass ball, Corrine Mansevice ends up down on third.
And Aaron makes it all the way. Yeah, Aaron goes to third.
Aaron, rather.
Walks and goes to first, and Amanda Bjorklund is up, and she walked and scored in the first time up. In the first.
Amanda is the right fielder for Menards. Pitches low, and another throw down to Courtney Copenall as the runner steals second. Courtney hoping to outfox the runner on third and catch her napping.
It's funny, as many times as we see that in Little League, though, how many times have we ever seen it work?
I think I only recall seeing it work once. And here comes another run.
And another close play. That catcher gets back there nice and fast.
Well, Erin Roach has got to be tired now because she has chased a lot of balls back there to the backstop. Another turn and bunt, nice play, and didn't quite recognize that the runner was coming down the line in time.
And that's a single for Amanda.
Very nice bunt there by Amanda Bjorklund. Back up to the top of the order for now the third at-bat this inning for Caitlin Wilson.
Caitlin has bunt single. She walked to drive in a run. Stolen base for Amanda.
2 outs here, bottom of the first. Menards up 15-4.
9th batter of the inning. Still on 4 hits. I'm sorry, that's
19th.
5 hits.
Oh, 5 hits.
Yeah, 19th batter.
Called strike on Caitlin Wilson.
I believe that's 2 on her now.
Marlene Gutter with the brushback.
It was actually a hard-breaking curveball.
On the inside corner.
Right.
Just painted the black. Caitlin walks, and up comes Amy Menard.
Well, Amy's had herself a ball game so far. She's walked and scored and hit the grand slammy. 4 RBIs.
So Teresa Callahan out there in center field is no doubt backing up a step or two, having had one go over her head last time Amy was up.
Oh, she's looking for another one.
Swinging strike 1 for Amy Menard. One and 1 the count. Amy, the third baseman for Menard's Auto Body. Marlene concentrating on the out here as Amy gets strike 2 on her.
Well, I think that's what Beamons has to do is throw the ball over the plate and let's see what happens. These base on balls aren't helping them. They have fielders back there.
So Marlene looks for the 3rd out of the inning, just a bit low.
And he called out a strike.
So the bleeding finally stops for Beeman Tavern. 15 runs come in for Menards here in the bottom of the 1st inning, making it 15-4. And that was, I believe you said, on 5 hits. Is that right, Gary?
That was on 5 hits. Those one hit batsman and quite a few base on balls, and that really hurts. And got to see if Miss Pucko can hold it together now after sitting and relaxing for that long period of time.
So Adrian Pucko is getting ready to throw to the first batter of the inning for Beeman Tavern.
And left fielder.
As Coach Paul Anderson trots down there to 3rd base. Big uphill battle here for Beeman as they come to bat in the top of the 2nd.
Adrian doesn't have quite the speed that the other 2 girls have for Beeman, but what she seems to have is location. In the 1st inning, she had no walks at all.
Ball hit back to Adrian, scoops it up. Nice controlled toss to Lindsay Richards for the out.
1 away.
That brings us to the top of the order for Beeman Tavern. Teresa Callahan, the center fielder for the Tavern.
Teresa singled her first time up, was forced out at 2nd. So let's see what Teresa can do. Teresa's an 11-year-old.
Little mix up there with what the helmets are that are available.
There we go.
A nice lefty up there at bat for Beeman Tavern. Strike 1 for Teresa. One and one. The battery for Menards Auto Body is still Adrian Pucko on the mound and Alicia Dungy behind the plate as Adrian joins Bowling for Dollars on that last pitch.
But the thing was, it was in the 1-3 pocket. That was a strike all the way.
Fouled off, and that makes it 2-2 now.
That wakes some fans up over there.
Well, that's normally where we set up our table if we're able to do the games live. Because of the rain out on Saturday the 25th, most of the crew, as the strikeout is recorded for Adrian Pucko, which sits down Teresa Callahan, 1 out.
Courtney Copenall's coming up. She reached on the fielder's choice and scored in the 1st inning. Sorry, Steve. I would have made that play, by the way.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what we were talking about. Yeah, we normally set our announcer's table up there on the 3rd base side, but because we got rained out on Saturday, neither Gary or I were available on Sunday, so that's why we have these one-camera shoots for both of the championship games.
We were here and we were ready to go, and we said, oh, it's a little bit of rain, but the fields were just not too nice.
It had stopped raining, but the fields were mushy. Adrian with the delivery.
Basically, it could have been electrocution Saturday.
Oh, that's true. 3 balls, no strikes on the batter, Courtney Copenall. Courtney's got great form there at the plate, and she rips one right up the middle. Scooped up there by Erin Latore in center field.
Nice, solid single. Excellent
form. Courtney Copenall is another one of those multiple sport athletes. I've seen her play in the basketball league down at Major Edwards, and she's going to be a good athlete up there at the high school.
Jess Anderson coming up. She's singled and has an RBI and scored a run in the 1st inning.
Just a bit low, and Courtney down to 2nd, and she just barely gets in there ahead of the tag. That was a nice bullet thrown down there by Alicia Dungy.
That was close. goes. When you're down by a few, you don't take too many chances.
That's when they're that close. That's when you want them to get down and get the uniforms dirty when they're stealing second.
Yeah, but you don't. I'm sure the coach pulling out a little bit of hair on that one. I'm sure he did not want her to go.
Jess Anderson now at bat. Fouls one off. 2 strikes on the batter. Jess is now the 3rd baseman for Beeman Tavern. Ball hit to the left side, scooped up there by Caitlin Wilson, over to Lindsay Richards. Lindsay not able to handle it, and the runners are held, allowed to advance only 1 base. So runners on second and third.
I think that the person from third should be scoring on that one.
And you're absolutely right. So score a run for Beeman Tavern. Courtney Copenall comes in.
Maureen Hill up at bat right there. Maureen singled her first time up. Marlene, I'm sorry, singled her first time up. And she takes up a big rip.
Marlene looked like she was looking to the right side that time, held off on the swing and looked like she was trying to pound it to the right. The runner does advance, however, on the pass ball. 0-2 on Marlene. Jess Anderson over on third. 1 out here, top of the second, Beeman batting. Facing a 15-5 deficit.
But both teams are even in hits.
Just shows you how important it is to not give free passes, because that's really the big difference in the game right now. Adrian has not given a lot of free passes, and in that first inning, the pitching staff for Beeman had a little bit of difficulty in finding the plate.
Alicia Dungy made a nice play on that last one, keeping that ball in front of her. That should be a full count right now, I believe.
Charlie impressed by the seagulls flying by. Ball 4, runners at the corners now.
Up comes Amanda Whalen, and she reached on an error by the first baseman in the first inning and scored a run.
1 out here, top of the second inning. 15-5 lead by Menards. And it looks like the play is going to work this time. The throw is just a little low.
Son of a gun. What did I say that for the first time?
Almost worked. The throw from Caitlin Wilson was a little low. Tough to handle by Alicia.
And Marlene goes all the way to third base.
So score the run. 2 runs in here, top of the second rather. Sounds like one of our neighbors who's doing a little bit of yard work in the background on a nice sunny Sunday.
Well, it's about time he mows his lawn.
Ball hit hard to the left side, knocked down by Caitlin Wilson, picked up and thrown over, not in time to first.
What a nice play. Give her a single on that.
Caitlin knocked it down. Amy Menard, the third baseman, picked it up and fired it over to Lindsay Richards, but it just wasn't quite in time. Score the run. 3 runs in here for Beeman in the top of the second.
Angela Russo coming up, and she was called out on strikes in the first inning.
Still only 1 out for Beeman here, top of the second.
You know, there could be some substitutes, and if we're a little slow getting to them, don't get upset with us, because we have to pick them up by just looking at numbers like we can see right now. So bear with us, folks. This has all happened with 2 outs, Steve.
It has. pitch and just a bit low.
Just did a full windmill on that one, Steve.
Once again, the throw was just a little bit late. They're getting down there. Just you know, makes a little bit more line drive on those throws down to second. She's going to start picking people off that are trying to steal on her.
But being down by 8 runs, it's still tough thing to be running like that because they're a little too close for comfort.
Well, Alicia just proved the strength of her arm by firing one down to Amy Menard to make sure that the base runner wouldn't advance down to third. Just a bit low on the walk, and it looks like this is Adrian Pucko's inning to have a little bit of control difficulty.
This is Adrian's second walk of the ball game, both coming in this inning. And Eliza Mishi is up. She singled and knocked in a runner first time.
Runners on first and second. Just a bit high, ball 1. Liza has one of those lean back in the box type of a batting stance. At one time, didn't Dewey Evans have a stance like that?
You betcha. Wasn't a bad hitter, was he?
No, not at all. 3 balls, no strikes on the batter. Adrian Pucko trying to get back that rhythm she had earlier in the game. 3 runs here so far for Beeman in the top of the second.
That loads him up, Steve. Aaron Roach coming up. Aaron grounded out, pitched it first, the first time up, and in the inning. And she's the 9th batter up in this inning.
And Aaron is an 11-year-old, so she'll be back playing for Beeman Tavern next year. Aaron Roach is the catcher who got quite a workout there in the first inning for Beeman Tavern. So hopefully she's had a chance to rest there and looks at ball 1. Adrian covers the plate perfectly on the pass ball to Alicia. Bases loaded here, top of the second inning. Ball 2.
You know, it's Adrian just has to realize that she just has to let her fielders help her out. She's got a pretty strong infield behind her.
There's a nice pitch, foul ball.
And that's what she did the whole first inning, was put those in there, let her high, and let the people go at it. Bases loaded. This is a big moment in the ball game.
It looks like Adrian may be in a rut here with releasing the ball too early, because most of the balls that she's been throwing have been low.
Well, now we know what Aaron Roach's nickname is.
Oh, I didn't hear that. What was it?
Wild Thing.
Wild Thing. Full count now on Wild Thing.
And it was a swing and a miss.
So Aaron leaves the bases loaded here in the top of the second inning. However, 3 runs score for Beeman on 2 hits. And that makes the score after 1.5. Beeman 7 and Menards 15.
You know, of note, all 3 runs that inning were unearned.
Oh, ball hit to the gap, picked up there on one hop by Teresa Callahan into second, and she beats the throw.
That's Alicia, I believe. Alicia Dungy.
Our cameraman Charlie Greeno, in an effort to conserve tape here, has started to pause tape between innings. So it's the bat of an eyelash, and we're right back to the next batter. So
what I was going to say, of the 7 runs that have been scored so far by Beeman, 5 are unearned. Remind me not to blink again, Steve.
So there's a runner on first here, on second rather, no outs. Menard's bottom of the second inning.
And Lindsey Richards is up.
Lindsey so far, if my memory serves correct, has 3 RBI in this game.
Yeah, she had a single and she grounded out short to first on a great play.
Scooped up over there on second by Eliza Mishi, over to Amanda Whalen for the out. Nice defensive play. So both teams have proved that they can make the outs behind the pitching. We just have to make sure that we work on our mechanics and deliver the ball and let the defense do the job.
I think the infield has looked very, very good on both teams so far.
One out for Menards here, bottom of the second inning.
Adrian Pucko still up. She has walked twice, scored twice, has an RBI.
Adrian is the pitcher for Menards today. Just a bit low.
Yes, set yourself better. Put your hands on your knees. Get ready.
From here, I can't tell if that is still Marlene Hill on the mound. We'll have to assume that. Based on the delivery, I believe that is Marlene.
She's messing us up because she took her hat off. It's number 1, Marlene.
And as we hear Aaron Latore on the sidelines, Coach Menard is starting to make subs. Pass ball scores the run from third.
That makes it 16-7.
Adrian Pucko on first brings up Jess Stelmuck for Menards. One out here, top of the second, the bottom of the second. These long innings kind of mess up where you are.
They certainly do. They make the score sheets look great, too.
Boy, what is that? The battle plans to invade Normandy?
Yes, it is.
Swing and a miss by Jess Stelmuck. Adrian finds herself down at second as a result of the pass ball.
Jess has been up twice, has walked twice, and scored twice.
Good scoop down there at third by Jess Anderson. 1-1 is the count on the batter.
Hunter holds at third.
Paul Menard, the coach down there for Menard's Auto Body at third. 2-2 on Jess Stelmuck. Swinging strike 3. That's 2 outs now for Menards here in the bottom of the second inning. It's going to bring up Aaron Latore.
Becky, 5 steps in.
We might have a substitute here. I thought I heard Aaron saying that you're going in for me or something. So,
well, I heard her say that she was going in, but I didn't. I didn't hear whether or not it was for Aaron Latore. We'll have to. Well, it's a left-hander, and I don't believe Aaron Latore batted left her first at bat. A nice placed bunt, thrown down to first, not in time.
you gotta get that number.
Looks like number 4. That's Diane Abramson.
Hey, come on, settle down out there. Come on.
And Diane is all the way. No, she's staying at second. So we're going to give Diane a single, and she's going to go to third on the error.
And I believe we had a run score on that too, didn't we, Gary?
Yes, we did. Adrian scored.
So 2 runs in for Menards here in the bottom of the second inning. Another nice place bunt picked up by Hill, thrown down to first for the out, and that retires the side. 2 runs in for Menards on how many hits?
1, 2.
On 2 hits, making the score after 2 full innings, 17 for Menards and 7 for Beeman Tavern. In the 3rd inning, batting for Beeman, we will have...
I don't know who's going up. Oh, I'm confused.
That was the cue to the color guy to look at his score sheet and say, "Oh, Steve."
I'm still trying to get this substitution done. Becky Bowman.
Becky Bowman now for Beeman. Say that 3 times fast. Becky Bowman for Beeman. Adrian Pucko throws ball 1. Boy, that almost looked like the classic slow pitch that time. Was just a bit high, ball 2.
I think all she's trying to really do right now is just get the ball over the plate and let everybody work.
Well, with a 10-run lead, that's certainly the game plan. Ball hit right back to Adrian, almost picked up by Amy as it kind of took a funny hop there and hit Adrian Pucko in the, it looked like in the shoe, and scooted off to Amy Menard on over towards 3rd.
We're going to get Becky a single on that one. That was a tough one to handle. Coming up will be Teresa Callahan, who singled and struck out.
And Teresa is the top of the order for Beeman Tavern. Nice wind-up and delivery, and the ball is thrown down to second, not in time. Becky Bowman with the steal. 1-0 the count to Teresa Callahan. Adrian Pucko with the delivery. Strike, ball strike. Wake up, Steve.
She struck the ball with the bat.
To the right side.
She's on first base.
And a run scores.
See, we can get through this, folks, if we just try hard enough. And Teresa gets the 2nd hit of the ball game for her and an RBI. That brings up Courtney Copenhagen. She's the shortstop, and she has reached on the fielder's choice, single, and scored 2 runs.
Courtney, the possessor of some blazing speed.
It's been interesting, the runs that have scored so far for Menards have basically come from walks and bunts, and of course the grand slam.
Ball hit hard right back to Adrian Pucko, scoops it up, not in time.
Nice stop by the first baseman.
That was also a nice knockdown by Adrian Pucko. That was a rocket hit right back to the mound.
That is called self-defense.
And Coach Menard goes out there. It looks like the ball hit her just above the glove.
She's like, I'm all right. Come on. I'm fine.
Adrian with her Red Sox hat on. A little B there. So Adrian's fine, remains in the game. Runners at 1st and 2nd.
And Jess Anderson up. She singled, knocked in a run, reached on an error, and scored 2 runs.
Ball 1 to Jess Anderson.
Bad throw, but nobody advances.
Adrian with the delivery, ball hit up the middle, and base hit, run scores. Well, I thought it would, and oh! Paul must have held her up there just to make sure what the defense was doing. So the run does eventually score.
Now leaves runners at 1st and 2nd, and that's 3 hits so far this inning. 4 hits this inning.
2 runs in for Beeman here in the top of the 3rd.
Up now is Marlene Hill, who is singled and walked, scored 2 runs. Low
ball on Marlene, and unless I've inappropriately forgotten to scratch something down here on my pad. I don't have any outs for Beeman yet. Is that true?
You haven't forgot a thing, Steve.
All right.
Sharp as the whip still.
Mind is sharp as a bowling ball sometimes. Ball is just a bit high. Adrian with the delivery.
There's a log jam on the bases now, Steve.
That does load him up. And that's going to bring up Amanda Whalen, the first baseman for Beeman. 2 runs in already, no outs, bases loaded. Just a bit high, 1-0 on Amanda.
I just realized why we never got this game cable cast earlier. We knew that you baseball junkies would need something during the strike, and we saved it for you.
That's right, it was by design. 2-0 to count. Actually, if the truth been known, we've just been traveling too much, and we haven't had a chance to sit down and in fact, for the boys' Little League Championship game, I had to borrow Bob Richardson to help me out with that one, because I think you were on one of your trips to Minnesota. Ball hit hard to center field, just over the head of Aaron Latore. Safe at second, and that will
bring in
3 in, and Amanda Whalen ends up on third by virtue of that monster blast to center field over Aaron Latore's head.
This game is tightening up, folks. You wonder why Menards was still running and working so hard in that first inning. Well, now you know why.
17-12 now with Menards in the lead.
Angela Russo up. She was called out on strikes and is walked.
And Angela took her coach's instruction as gospel and went after the high pitch to try to bunt it. 1-1 now is the count on Angela.
This could be Beeman's inning. This is the inning they may need to get back in this ballgame.
Runner on third, no outs. Just a bit high. 2-1. Angela Russo is the right fielder for the Beeman Tavern team. She pounds one and caught out there by Aaron Latore. Quickly gets it back to third.
And that's great.
Very heads-up play out there by Aaron Latore for Menards. Makes the catch and makes sure that runner gets back to third. Nice pound by Angela Russo,
We
too.
have to give credit where credit's due. I believe that was Diane Averson out there who went in for Aaron in the last inning.
You are correct, and I did not make that change in my defensive chart.
So nice play, Diane. Up right now is Eliza, and she's singled and walked, has an RBI. And it's a called strike. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Two and one on the batter. Looks like both teams are starting to hit the ball now. Back up the middle, Abramson picks it up and scoots it into second.
Nice single. Does that say no?
No, that's a different, and I couldn't see the number.
That's either 16, there's no 18, so that must still be number 16.
Eliza Mishi.
Right.
Aaron Roach now just a bit high. And do you have 5 runs in this inning for Beeman?
I'll give him
6. Okay, I did miss one while I was making changes on charts.
There's the bunt.
Nice bunt and
Smart heads-up play by Menards. That was Adrian calling that one off, and the ball just barely went foul. Nice bunt by Aaron Roach. Aaron's been up twice. She's grounded out pitcher to first, and she struck out swinging.
well, the experience of the 12-year-old Adrian Pucko came through that time, as she knew enough to watch that ball roll foul and then pick it up when it did.
And there's the K.
True, it was a foul on the attempted bunt, but of course when you try to bunt with 2 strikes and you foul it off, that's it. So 1 out, sorry, 2 outs now.
Becky Bowman coming up. With Meg Chamberlain on deck. Meg Chamberlain, 11-year-olds, coming into the ballgame.
Over on the far side of your screen, you could see the left fielder for Menard's defense, Corinne Mansevice, coming over to third to back up Amy Menard in the event that there was a throw down to third. Ball hit to the right side, foul ball. Just missed our cameraman, Charlie Greeno.
Charlie could have made that play. Of course, he's going to take his eye off the camera or view it first. Notice how he followed that ball up? Charlie, they're going to wear you out this year with 8 home football games.
Foul ball, 2 strikes now on the batter.
And that's Sarah Brennan up right now, in for Becky Bowman. I just caught that number 3.
So we'll put Sarah Brennan there.
Sarah's a 12-year-old. And he called that a strike.
So that's the end of the inning here for Beeman. They had 6 runs come across, making the total after 2.5 innings for Beeman Tavern 13. And Menard's coming to bat here in the bottom of the third with 17 runs. So it's 17-13 here after 2.5 innings.
Of interest, I think it's of interest anyhow, is they have 12 hits so far in the ball game, and they're trailing a team that only has 7 hits. So that just goes on to say how much that, how important it is to turn around and get that ball over the plate.
Paul Menard has a little conference there with the batter, and leading off this inning for Menards.
He had to ask me that. Should be Alicia Gungy, number 20.
Squares the bunt, pulls it back, watches the ball.
Alicia's been hit by a pitch. She's walked. She has a double. And she has 3 runs scored.
1-0 the count. 2-0 now. Marlene Hill still on the mound for Beeman.
Menards is the home team, so this is the bottom of the third.
3-0 now on
Alicia. Oh, she offered on that one.
3-1 now. Alicia is the catcher for Menards.
And Alicia gets the walk.
Runner on first, no outs here. Bottom of the third for Menards. That's going to bring up Lindsay Richards, the first baseman. Lindsay, believe it or not, is only an 11-year-old, so she's still got 1 more year in this league.
That's, we have a sub in
yeah, it looks like we do have another sub.
That's a play by the catcher.
Also a nice scoop down there by Courtney Copenall, looking back the runner. Hopefully we'll get a chance to see the number of the lady batting so we can tell you who replaced Lindsay Richards. A nice bunt picked up by Marlene Hill, and she holds on to the ball wisely because there really wasn't a play there. Perfectly placed bunts. I'm really impressed with how well both these teams have been coached on bunting. Boy,
like Caitlin Smith.
Number 1?
Number 8. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm wrong there. I had to read those numbers.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. Ball was just a bit high by Marlene Hill on the delivery. So we should have Adrian Pucko up there now for Menards batting. Runners stay where they are.
Give us that number. Almost.
Molly, take your time. Find your spot. Roll.
It's either a 5 or a 1. We'll get it.
Now what?
Just a bit high. And it looks like Adrian was kind of squaring around to bunt herself.
Now we'll never get it. She's too far away.
We apologize. Mystery runner on second. It's one of the problems with doing this after the fact. It's easier to see the numbers when you're there on the field. Believe it or not, it's August, what is the date today? 25th, and we're doing this voiceover play-by-play of a game that was played back on June 26th.
Nice bunt.
Ball is fired down to first, not in time.
Run scores.
One run in here for Menards in the bottom of the third.
Jess Stelmach should be up right now. If you saw the score sheet, you could see why I was struggling.
It really does look like the battle plans for the invasion of Normandy from here.
It really feels like the battle plan for the invasion of Normandy.
So this should be Jess Stelmach, right?
We think. We'll get this straightened out sooner or later, folks.
Called ball. 1-0. 18-13 here, Menards. Bottom of the third. It's a call strike on that previous pitch. 1-1. Count on the batter, Jess Stelmach.
Boy, did I lie to you. 1, 2, 3. This should be Alicia.
Alicia. Dungy?
Amanda was the first batter up, and she walked and scored.
Oh,
I just
okay.
figured out the score sheet. I mean, you got to see this.
Okay.
And the second batter up was Caitlin Wilson, and she is now on third base. And the next batter up was
Amy Menard.
Amy, and she's now on second base. Wow, talk about confusion, folks.
That's why we don't get paid the big bucks, you know?
You get it. And this should be the fourth batter up right now.
Alicia Dungy.
Number 20. And she walked.
And that's indeed who it is. Number 20 is on first. So we caught back up with the program. Lindsay Richards. There she is. Now that's definitely Lindsay. Bases are loaded here for Lindsay Richards in the bottom of the third inning. Menards up 18-13. Lindsay hits one to the right side, picked up by the second baseman and flips it over to Courtney. Courtney down to home, and they get the runner caught in a rundown. Let's see if they're successful, and no, she is able to come home. That was an excellent play, though, by the shortstop, Courtney Copenall for Beeman. So we do have an out, score the runs, so that, let's see, that scored 2 runs for Menards on that play, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And we had Alicia forced out at second on the fielder's choice for the first out of the inning.
That's correct.
And now we have Adrian up to bat.
Adrian Pucko, the pitcher, steps into the batter's box with a 20-13 lead for her team. She squares to bunt. And Lindsay advances down to third, just ahead of the throw.
You talk about getting things straightened out. This was wonderful.
I thought some of those players looked different in size than what I remembered, but that's another error that you normally don't make when you're sitting there doing the game live, you know?
You're right.
Adrian Pucko goes after the low pitch. That should make the count 2-2. So with the runner on third and 1 out, Adrian Pucko is looking at a 2-2 count, and the delivery from Marlene Hill. Ball hit in the air to the right side, and it drops in front of Angela Russo.
Come in and catch it.
Score Lindsay Richards from third.
We hope. Yep.
Had to wait for the camera to kind of pan over there so we could see whether or not Lindsay did score. Jess Stelmach now. Still 1 out, runner on first.
Jess has been up 3 times. And she has 2 walks and a strikeout. Nice bunt. She's going to beat it out.
Hey, Light, wake up out there. Hey, Jeff.
So runners on first and second. 1 out here for Menards. Aaron Latour, nope, sorry, we made a substitution. That's Diane Abramson.
Watch the ball on the ground, you're running.
A lefty.
And it looks like Menards has gone into the buntarama offense. That's well, not 3 straight bunts, but it's certainly. Have you been noting which are bunts?
That's their 4th bunt single this inning.
4th bunt this inning.
We had the 5 ball. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits this inning, and we had the blooper by Adrian, and all the rest of them bunts.
Swing, strike, pass ball, and score the run. So the runners move up. Runners on second and third now for Corrine Mansevice.
We think. There's some substitutes in there. We're sorry if we haven't picked you up.
And a little bit of defensive shuffling there. It's very clear to see that the kingpin of this defensive infield for Beeman Tavern is Courtney Copenhall. She's demonstrated that she is a very good athlete out there today.
I have to agree with you.
And the runner wisely holds at third. Kind of test the waters to see how far away the ball will go. I believe this is Corrine Mansevice. Hopefully we'll get to see a number here pretty soon to see if there has been a substitution for her.
Pitch is on off by that much. She's pretty close.
Well, the game by now is pretty close to 3 hours old, even though tape time we've only gone about an hour and a half. We've done a little bit of condensing here.
Taken out the between innings and some of the warm-up pitches.
Oh my God! Look at that pitch.
Ball is hit back to the mound. Marlene scoops it up and throws over to Amanda Whalen for the out. That's the 2nd out of the inning here for Beeman. Score the run. So up to bat now is Amanda Bjorklund. And I was just checking my scratchings here to see if we had made a substitution, and according to my notes we have not, so that should be Amanda. And it looks like they're going to get her, and they squeeze the runner at home for the 3rd out of the inning. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 runs in for Menards here in the bottom of the sixth, bottom of the third, as we're looking at some of the fandom over there down the third baseline. 6 runs in makes it 23-13, and so far the pattern seems to be after every inning, Menards seems to have just about a 10-run lead. After 1, it was 15-5. After 2, it was 17-7, and after 3, it's 23-13.
One of the things that's interesting in that inning is they actually had 5 hits that inning. That's their biggest offensive output with the bat, and 4 of those were bunt singles. So as we come into the 4th inning, it's
looks like number 6 is coming to bat for Beeman.
That's Meg Chamberlain. She'll be batting for Teresa Callahan, the leadoff batter. Meg's an 11-year-old wearing number 6. Teresa Callahan in there earlier had 2 singles, a strikeout, an RBI, and a run scored. So Teresa had a very productive day in that leadoff spot as an 11-year-old.
So Meg Chamberlain, defensively speaking, will be taking the left field spot for Teresa Callahan. I'm sorry, center field spot.
And Adrian's still in there plugging away. And the base on balls. Meg Metz her first at bat, and she's on base. And Courtney Copenhagen coming up now, the very, very talented shortstop.
Courtney's a 12-year-old, so this is her last year at this level.
She's ready to move up, Steve.
Definitely. She gets a little instruction set from Coach Paul Anderson.
She's more than ready to move up. Courtney so far has stung the ball hard 3 times, once reaching on the fielder's choice and shortstop to second, and then 2 strong singles, and she scored 3 runs. On deck, number 10, Jessica Anderson.
So as we're dealing with the lull in the action here, oh, that's why we're warming up a new pitcher. That's Lindsay Richards on the mound now for Menards.
Not a bad delivery. I don't know where they're going, but she seems to...
Well, Lindsay also has come to the pitching clinic I was holding in the off-season, so it's good to see that the girls who have invested some of the extra time in trying to learn the tools are the ones that we're seeing out on the mound.
You know, with her height, if she could learn to windmill, she could be devastating.
More so in fast pitch softball, I think, than in baseball, because the distance between the mound and the plate is so much shorter in softball. You have a big person throwing the ball at you. It looks so much more intimidating.
And the stolen base. Beamans continues to run.
And batting, I seem to have lost track here. Is this Courtney? Courtney Copenhagen, that's right.
And I'm sure we probably have a sub out there right now for Beeman, because I'm sure Paul's moved some people around, and we'll do everything we can to catch those numbers.
Well, the only person who has not, according to my notes, come into the game for Beeman Tavern is Lindsay Garvey, number 11. She's a 12-year-old. Now, I don't know if she has been placed into the game or not. We'll just have to keep an eye on number 11 and see if she shows up for us.
We'll find you.
Courtney Copenhagen ahead in the count here. Runner on third. Lindsay Richards is now the pitcher for Menards.
Base on ball.
So runners at the corners.
Jess Anderson coming up at bat. Jess has singled, knocked in a run, reached on an error, scored, singled, scored another run. Because as we sit here, I'm thinking, football practice has already started. We are doing a softball game. We are bad.
Well, hopefully we were able to spread the word so that both teams had a chance to be notified that the game was going to be on, because we'll play it a couple of times just to make sure that both players get a chance to see themselves, or both teams' players get a chance to see themselves on TV.
We'll give them something to do besides homework, you know. I would like to take a moment to thank Mike Pucko above all, and most of the DARE team, a lot of the officers, for their wonderful DARE basketball program this year. And before I came here tonight, I finished in a second.
Ball hit to the right side, scooped up by Jessica Stelmach. Throw over to first. Oh no, Jess Stelmach is now on first, so maybe that's Adrian Pucko on second. We're going to have to see how the defensive rotation has happened when we get the chance.
Anyhow, Jess Anderson just grounded out 4-3. A run scored. We have a runner all the way to third. And as I was saying, I'd like to thank Mike Pucko. He was up there every night. He ran a phenomenal DARE program. He had great attendance. I saw some kids who have just developed into such good little basketball players, all the way up from the youngins, all the way up to good participation from high school and postgraduate. And before I came here tonight, I actually watched the police officers along with Mike playing a softball game against the DARE students, and the DARE students just annihilated. The officers are so old they couldn't even get out of their way.
Oh, wow.
It just bought me a speeding ticket, but thank you to everybody that was part of that program. Especially thanks to Mike Pucko.
Just a bit low on the pitch from Lindsay Richards. So defensively speaking, we'll move Jess Stelmach over there to first, and we'll try to find out who has moved into second. I'm guessing that it's Adrian Pucko, but...
and there's a K. Marlene goes down swinging.
So that's 2 outs for Beeman here in the top of the 4th inning.
And Whalen coming up. She's reached on an error, singled and doubled.
And 1 run in here for Beeman in the top of the 4th.
There's 2 outs now in the inning. Barrett's still sitting there at third base.
Strike on the batter.
And Lindsay Garvey on deck will be going in for Angela Russo.
Nice delivery by Lindsay Richards. 1-1 the count. Lindsay so far looks like she's got very good control. 1 ball, 2 strikes on the batter. Amanda Whalen, is that true?
Yep, Amanda Whalen.
Ball hit in the air to the left side and caught over there by Amy Menard for out number 3.
Whoops, I did it.
So 1 run in here for Beeman in the top of the 4th inning, making it 14 runs for Beeman, and Menards will be coming to bat here at the bottom of the 4th with a 9-run lead, 23-14. Now I don't know if Marlene has just chosen to put a hat on, or if Coach Paul Anderson has made another pitching change.
Looks like, I don't know. Well, we'll find out shortly as Caitlin Smith comes up. Caitlin in the ball game right now, batting for Amanda Bjork. Boy, my I'm glad I caught that number. She ran by.
And, excuse me, that should leave only one player on the bench for Menards, Erica Monroe, number 5. I haven't noticed if she has gone in the game yet, so we'll keep our eyes open for her.
I don't know what kind of game it's called.
Just a bit high. Judging from the form of the pitcher, I would guess that there has been a pitching change, but having not seen her number, I don't know who that is, because that doesn't look like it's Marlene's style, who had been pitching for Beeman. Just a bit low.
Caitlin gets on base. Amanda before her had walked, singled, and then walked, scored 2 runs.
So one runner on, no outs. Up comes Caitlin Wilson, top of the order for Beeman Tavern. Sorry, Menards Auto Body.
And I'm sure that she's on the second. Yes, she is.
Attempted bunt by Caitlin Wilson that time was missed, so 0-1's the count for Caitlin.
Caitlin, K-A-T-E-L-Y-N on second, and Caitlin, C-A-I-T-L-I-N at bat.
Caitlin fouls one off, 0-2. Of course, we mentioned earlier that Caitlin Wilson's uncle is in the Pawtucket Red Sox organization. That, of course, is Ed Riley, the left-handed pitcher from St. Peter Marion. And I read in the paper just the other day that he's expected to be a free agent this year as Caitlin hits one to the right side and it drops in the alley. Score the run. Caitlin bucks down to second base.
She's quick.
Wearing that historical number 14. I believe she's a very big Mary Galena fan and chooses number 14 whenever she gets the chance. So that's not a very bad role model to have.
Not at all.
Amy Menard steps in. Score the run for Menards. They lead back by 10 at 24-14.
Caitlin has 3 hits, 2 walks, and so far she scored 3 runs with a couple RBIs. Amy has walked. She's hit a grand slam. She's been called out on strikes and Wilson.
And she rips one foul here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Steve, do you have any more paper? I'm gonna have to go to page 2 very soon.
It's a good thing we use the 11x17 sheets, otherwise we'd really be in trouble.
Honest to God, folks, I'm telling you this.
Caitlin Wilson scoots down to third base rather. Runner on third, no outs. 1 run in here already in the bottom of the 4th inning. Amy Menard at bat. Amy's a 12-year-old, as is Caitlin Wilson, so this is their last game at the junior division level. Amy hits one to the left side, knocked down, scooped up by Courtney Copenal. Jess Anderson was the one who got the initial glove on it. Score the run. Did it score? No, it stayed there.
I already filled it in, I was sure.
So runners at the corner, still no outs. Up now is Alicia Dungy.
Hit by a pitch, walked, doubled, walked.
Who is also a 12-year-old. So the top 3 batters in the batting order for Menards will graduate. Little overthrow, score the run. And since it's in the outfield, along comes Amy Menard too. So Caitlin Wilson and Amy Menard score on the overthrow.
Makes it 26.
26-14, bases clear, no outs. Alicia Dungy, number 20, the batter. Just a bit high.
Still trying to catch that pitcher's number for you, but every time it just seems to get out of my line of sight. Alicia a little anxious on that one going after the low pitch.
I was trying to listen for the umpire's call of the count.
You having to keep the track, Steve?
Sometimes on the called ones, it's tough to tell whether it's a ball or a strike. So every once in a while, I do lose it.
It's really hard when you can't see the batter.
And that looks like it's ball 4. So Alicia goes down to first, bringing up what should be Lindsay Richards, the cleanup hitter, number 21.
Lindsay singled, grounded to short, grounded to second, reach on the fielder's choice. Has 2 RBIs and scored 2 runs.
Her older sister, Melissa, played for me in the girls' league, and my shin still has a dent in it. As the throw comes down, and Courtney Copenal is almost there with the tag. I was saying my shin still has a big dent in it from a line drive hit off the bat of Melissa Richards right back at me when I was pitching batting practice. So.
Don't you know you're supposed to use a glove, Steve?
I couldn't get it down fast enough. That's what the thing was. It was a true rocket as it took off of the bat.
She's given up her game of softball and has become a district qualifier the last 2 years in the javelin. She's just a well-rounded athlete.
No question.
She'll be a real senior leader this year on the basketball team.
Well, she'll be, if memory serves, she'll be the only senior on the basketball team this year.
That's what I said, she'll be a real senior leader. I think that team is going to surprise some people this year.
Well, there is a big hole to fill in the form of Claudia Copeland, as you see Lindsay Richards draw the walk, putting runners at the corners. So that is going to be a big hole to fill. But you know, the feeder program that we have in place, you know, the 2 young ladies that stepped in last year on the guard spots did an excellent job. Those, of course, Jamie Mulryan and Danielle Wilson. Just a bit inside on that pitch.
Just going home.
Ball gets away and score another run. That's 4 in so far this inning for Menards.
And Lindsay goes all the way to third base.
So in case we haven't mentioned, I believe it's Adrian Pucko there at the plate, and another errant throw back to the pitcher scores Lindsay Richards. 28-14 now for Menards. Adrian Pucko still at bat for Menards Auto Body.
Adrian's walked twice, has a triple and a single. She's scored every time she's been on 4 times.
And still no outs here for Menards.
And she walks. Trying to pitch it too late. This should be Jess Stelmach, but I'm still looking for Erica Moore. I'm sure she's in there somewhere. Sorry, Erica.
And this is the bottom of the 4th inning, scheduled to be a 6-inning game. Throw down to second, and if she held on to it, they must have her. And they did.
Yes, they did.
Excellent play by shortstop Courtney Copenal. The throw was a little high, but she held on to it, did a nice little sweep tag, and 1 out here for Menards.
Nice play all the way around.
Looks like the catcher may be getting a little bit tired there for Beeman. Poor Aaron Roach has has been very, very active behind the plate all game. This is the bottom of the 4th inning, but there's been a lot of pitchers, and I believe this is the 3rd pitcher of the game for Beeman, but it's the same catcher, so she's got to be tired.
Well, this game now is almost an hour and 50 minutes on tape, so we're well over 3 hours as far as the ball game, or close to it anyhow.
Jess Stelmach still at the plate. 3-1 the count now to Jess. And that will put Jess on first.
And brings up Diane.
Diane Abramson is the center fielder for Menards.
Diane, her first time up, singled. Diane, her second time up, singled. So she's got a perfect day going.
And batting from the left side has that extra step advantage getting down the line for anything hit to the infield. Just a bit high. That should be 0-2 on Diane.
Steve, I'm getting right as cramp.
You'll have to go to work tomorrow with your right hand all in bandages.
Not where I'm going.
3-0 is the count on the batter. Jess Stelmach went down to second on the pass ball. A bunt attempt and picked up by the catcher, thrown just a little bit low. Amanda Whalen couldn't scoop it up. It looks like the runner from second scored.
And that's 3 for 3 for Diane. She's a nice little weapon to have.
6 runs in for Menards this inning. It almost looked like that ball hit the bat twice. You know, once on the bunt, and then as she was dropping the bat, it looked like the ball hit the bat again. Corrine Mansevice now. She hits one to the left side, picked up by Courtney Copenall, and fires over there to first. Amanda Whalen with the throw to home, and she's safe.
What an arm. That goes 1-6-3 for the second out of the inning. Beautiful, beautiful throw. And Caitlin Smith is up right now. Caitlin walked her first time up.
2 outs now for Menards here in the bottom of the 4th inning. I don't know if I scored that run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you have 6 in or 7 in? I might have missed 7. Okay, I did miss that last one.
You know, it's nice when you have these voiceovers. You can listen to all the eavesdropping we can do. People will not realize the camera's picking up everything.
Called strike on Caitlin. That's one thing I can't do with my bad knee. Seeing Paul Menard over there coaching third in that very traditional coach's crouch, I couldn't get halfway down.
He's young.
3 balls, 1 strike now on Caitlin Smith.
Expanding that score sheet.
And full count now. 2 outs here for Menards in the bottom of the 4th inning. And a full count on the batter, Caitlin Smith. And
Caitlin reaches again.
Back up to the top of the order, the other Caitlin with a C, Caitlin Wilson.
Caitlin has walked twice, has 2 singles and a double. Scored 4 times.
Another steal down there, and there's the tag for the out. Looks like that catcher-shortstop combination of Aaron Roach and Courtney Copenal is paying off here in the latter stages of the game, because that's, I believe, the second out this inning that they've recorded on that play.
Yes, it is. Adrian got picked off earlier. So after 4, what's that bring the score? 30
to 14 in favor of Menards after 4 full innings. So after 4 full innings, the game is called because of the mercy rule, with the final score being Menards Auto Body 30 and Beeman Tavern 14. So Menards is the repeat champions and the 1994 champions.
Well, congratulations to both teams, because they worked real hard to get here, and I really enjoyed watching this. So keep practicing, gals.
As we see Paul get the celebratory dunk from the soda, we'll say goodnight here from Channel 11 for Steve Howland and Gary Dralis, and Channel 11. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Charlie.